Good morning, everybody. It is me again. I did an informal survey on Facebook, and I asked the question, how many people who are out there suffering with autoimmune issues, whether it's fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue or Hashimoto's, etc. Anyway, those autoimmune diseases where it seems that the body is attacking itself, and that even includes type 2 diabetes. How many of them had been diagnosed in the past, no matter how far or how long ago it was, with Hashimoto's, with Epstein-Barr, streptococcus, or mononucleosis? 100% of the people that I informally surveyed had one, two, or all of those diseases, or all of those diagnoses. And so it started me to thinking about this book that I've been reading, that I shared with you before, Medical Medium by Anthony William. And Anthony William, he doesn't claim to be a doctor, but he does claim to be a healer. But for me, dealing with autoimmune issues myself over the last 10 to 12 years, some so serious that I had to retire from my job or the work that I did for 18 years, I follow where the evidence leads. I have tried just about everything, but nobody really knew what I knew inside, which was that my body does not attack itself. There's something going on, there's something much deeper going on, much deeper but much simpler. Anthony Williams' concept, or his theory, that he has proven himself, is that the body does not attack itself, but that all of these autoimmune illnesses and mystery illnesses, rheumatoid arthritis is another one, are caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. And like I said, 100% of the people that I surveyed had been diagnosed with strep, which is a close cousin to Epstein-Barr. With strep, Epstein-Barr had been, or they'd had mononucleosis, which is caused by Epstein-Barr. He says that Epstein-Barr does not show up on most diagnostic tests. Those people who have been specifically diagnosed with Epstein-Barr were tested and diagnosed at a certain stage in the Epstein-Barr viral process. So just because it doesn't show up on a test doesn't mean that you don't have it, and just because you've been tested and you have antibodies for Epstein-Barr doesn't mean that you have it no longer. There's an entire process that allows Epstein-Barr to run unchecked in the body for months, days, months, years, even decades. And so it's something to think about. If you have any, cause I have brain fog, by the way, but if you have any autoimmune issues, and I'm not going to edit this because autoimmune is not pretty. You should have seen my last video. Anyway, if you have any autoimmune issues, go back into your history. You may not even be in your medical history, and ask yourself, have I ever had mononucleosis? Have I ever had streptococcus, or have I ever been diagnosed with Epstein-Barr? Anyway, there are a lot of healing foods that are great. My last video, I talked to you about celery and apple juice to restore hydrochloric acid in the stomach, to restore digestive health. I learned the hard way that is not an everyday for the rest of your life kind of thing. I went from one extreme to the other. So there's a point where you can just say, okay, I replenished my stomach acid in a very healthy way, and if I ever run into this issue again, a bunch of celery and an apple, organic mind you, will be helpful. Well, here's another elixir that I am trying that works very well for me that I'd like to share with you, and it is a smoothie. And the key ingredient in that smoothie that is beneficial to people with autoimmune illness is not just regular blueberries, but wild blueberries. So I'm going to start with my Buddy the NutriBullet, and I'll use the large cup. Use 8 ounces of pure water. So if you live in Arizona like me, you know I went to the local water and ice store. Okay. I use a protein powder called Juice Plus Complete because it is vegan. It has 13 grams of protein, 8 grams of fiber, and 0 grams of fat. I use French vanilla, and it's delicious. It's not, I tried all kinds of protein additives and supplements, and some are so disgusting and make you want to run in the other direction. So I'll take 1 scoop of that. For those of you who like a little bit more sweetness in your smoothie, I would recommend local honey. A little shout out to my friend Chris out there, made by bees, right? And I don't know how many of these wild blueberries that you're supposed to put in there, so I'll put in there between half a cup and 3/4 of a cup, because more is better, right? And here's another thing that I do. I don't put ice in my smoothies. I take bananas and I peel them, and even if they get old, you peel them and you freeze them. Stick them in a Ziploc bag, and then you put them in your smoothie. Okay. Throw on the lid there. Those of you who like omega-3s, I've been known to put Udo's oil in my smoothies. Shake it up just a little bit. And let it roll. Wild blueberries turn everything purple, don't they? Okay, so those of you who have NutriBullets, you realize that, you know, they have these really great rings that you put on top. These don't fit very well in my car cup holder, but since I'm just hanging out here, I will go ahead and enjoy that here. My big old shake straw. Oh, it's nice and thick. And icing. You know what? I've definitely had worse medicine than this in my life. Or worse medicine than this in my life. And I really hope that this is beneficial to you as well. Who knew that the possibility existed that you were actually sick and not just a diagnosis that could not be cured? Anyway, stay tuned. Bon appetit.